A couple found a perfect place to live. It was too perfect. Gemma, a school teacher, is in class telling her students they are going to pretend to be trees. She interacts with the children, and they are delighted by her methods. After school, Gemma walks into a parent who asks her about the housing situation. Gemma says they have one more agent to look at, and the parent says they should pounce now that the market is off the roof. Gemma goes to her car but notices a student called Molly. Looking at dead birds, Gemma tells Molly it is natural that the bird dies. That's just the way things are, to which Molly says she doesn't like the way things are, they are terrible. Gemma's boyfriend, Tom, talks to her from a tree. He asks if his tree voice is good. Tom says the bird's death was sad, and he sings a burial song, to which Gemma laughs, and Tom says she should show some respect. Afterwards, Gemma and Tom walk to their car, where Tom says he will have his own muddy garden van one day. Gemma asks Tom to change his shirt, which he did. They head to the agent's office. Martin smiles as they walk in and stand up to greet them. Gemma and Tom introduce themselves to him. Martin tells them about Yonder. He said it was a wonderful, tranquil, and partial development and had all they needed and would ever want. Martin said the houses are getting snagged up because of the prices. He tells them there is more to Yonder than what they see. He tells them it would be a diverse community. He asked them to take a look, but they were reluctant, and he asked if they would like to reschedule. Martin tells Gemma and Tom that Yonder was worth a look, so they follow him in their car while he leads the way. Tom and Gemma sing in the car on their way to Yonder. They arrive at the gate and go in after Martin. He waits for them outside the house and takes them to house number 9. They go in to look around the house. Martin says the home is ideal. Martin describes the house and asks them to have a drink and eat some strawberries, but they decline. Martin also shows them a room and says the house isn't a starter home, that it is forever. Martin takes them to the garden, where Tom and Gemma look around. Gemma turns to ask Martin when people are due to move in and finds out Martin and his car are gone. Tom and Gemma get in their car to go home. Gemma drives the car, and the buildings are revealed like some maze. Tom said Gemma is going the wrong way while Gemma says it is the right way. They arrived at the same house. They kept driving around the houses to arrive at the same house. Tom gets out of the car to take over the wheel. He drives the car. Gemma notices there is no coverage on their cell phones. Tom drives, and they arrive at number 9 again. Tom smokes in the car, and Gemma disapproves. Tom kept driving in circles again, and they kept arriving at number 9. Gemma and Tom argued as they drove around in the car. The car is empty as they pull up to the front of number 9. Gemma calls out but gets nothing but echoes. She and Tom go into the house. They opened the wine from earlier and ate the strawberries. Tom says the strawberries have no taste. Gemma and Tom sleep in the bed, and Gemma says she has never heard such silence. The next morning, Tom climbs a ladder to the roof to see houses and clouds in all directions. Tom suggests they follow the sun and jump over the garden and fences. He tells Gemma they will get out by any means. Tom and Gemma go into other houses, standing on chairs to jump over fences. They do it from morning to night. Tom says they have to stop. Gemma goes over the next fence and announces there is a light in the next house. Tom and Gemma go into the house to see the strawberry and wine they left the night before. Gemma goes out the front door to see a box with food and supplies. Gemma yells, "Come back," to get echoes. Tom takes the box inside the house, pours the food out and lights a part of the box on fire. He sets the drapes on fire with the lit box. He tells Gemma he is sending out a smoke signal. Gemma and Tom sat outside and watched the house burn. The next morning, Gemma and Tom are covered in ash. Gemma wakes to see a box has arrived, and she opens the box to see a child. The box is labeled "Raise the child and be released." Gemma picks the child up and announces it is a boy. Gemma and Tom notice the burnt down house is back without any scratch. They spell help on the roof of the house. As days go by, the boy, who is now getting older, stands in front of Tom and Gemma's bed and mimics Gemma as she wakes from her sleep. Tom flips him the bird. The boy does the same, and Gemma flips him the bird too. The child mimics Gemma and Tom arguing, and Tom calls him a creepy little mutant. The child asked to be measured, so Gemma measured his height, and she wrote day 98, meaning they had been there for 99 days. The boy asked if he was bigger. Gemma said yes, and the boy said he was growing as fast as a dog. He asks what a dog is, and Gemma says they have already told him. The boy goes, "Woof, woof, woof." The boy asks if Gemma is overwhelmed, and Gemma says she is not his mother. The boy asks who his mother is, and Tom replies God knows. The boy started to scream. Gemma and Tom fed him cereal and milk. Later, Tom takes a box outside while Gemma joins him, sitting on the lounge chairs. Gemma and Tom talk about their situation while the boy smiles at them. Gemma says he is always watching, and Tom says he is not a boy. Gemma went into the house to bring coffee for Tom. He smoked while Gemma was away, and the boy smiled at him. Tom drops his cigarette butt on the grass, and the grass clears to reveal soil. Tom picks up his axe and starts to dig the soil. He takes a shovel from the car and digs with Gemma. Gemma noticed the box was gone. She asked the boy if he had moved the box. Gemma asks Tom to stop digging, but he insists he will dig. Later at night, Tom goes into bed. Gemma tells him he dug all day. Tom says the digging has to lead somewhere. He says Australia while Gemma says hell. Tom replies they are already in hell. Tom and Gemma have sex while the boy stares at them outside the door. The next day, Tom and Gemma get ready for the day and have breakfast. Tom goes back to digging while Gemma is left with the boy. The boy turned on the TV, which displays black and white optical illusions. At night, Tom goes to meet Gemma in their car. He says the car has a real smell. Music starts to play on the car radio, and Gemma gets out to dance. Tom joins her, and the boy joins too. As they dance, the boy pushes Tom to the ground, and Tom pushes him on the ground too. Gemma takes the boy to his room and tells him she can't be with him all the time. The boy calls Gemma mother, and she says she isn't his mother. Gemma leaves his room, and the boy starts to scream. Gemma tells him to stop and tell her what he wants. Gemma tells him he is disgusting and leaves him in his room. The next morning, the boy goes into Tom and Gemma's room to scream. They have breakfast, and Tom says he will dig again that day. Later that night, Tom hears the TV and goes down with Gemma to see the boy watching TV. Tom turns off the TV, and the boy takes the remote and turns it on. Gemma turns it off, but the boy turns it on again. Gemma asks what she should do, but Tom leaves her alone with the boy. The next morning, the boy is screaming while Gemma fills his bowl with cereal and milk. Tom takes the plate of cereal and throws it on the wall. Tom grabs the boy, who starts screaming. He tells Gemma he is locking the boy up to starve. Tom locked the boy in the car and took the keys while Gemma asked for the car keys. He told her they would come for the boy if they didn't want it to die. Gemma stares at the boy in the car and asks what if they don't come for the boy. Gemma takes the keys from Tom and takes the boy out of the car. Gemma tells the boy the meaning of a dream when she tucks him into bed at night. Gemma sleeps beside the boy in his bed. The next day, Gemma and the boy talk as they lay on blankets under the sun. Gemma said the clouds were all too perfect, and it was sickening. Gemma mimics a dog to the amusement of the boy. The next morning, Tom was still digging. Gemma got ready for the day and noticed the boy wasn't in the house. Tom said he had gone missing. Gemma walks about calling for the boy and finds him with a book. Gemma opened the book to find the images the boy was looking at on TV. There were also some drawings of a man. Gemma goes to meet the boy while he is watching TV to ask if he saw anyone while he was away. He says he saw someone and tells Gemma he isn't allowed to tell her who the person was. Gemma suggested they play pretend. She asked him to pretend to be her and Tom, and he should pretend to be the person he met that day. The boy transforms into a creature with a wide throat, and Gemma screams that she is not his mother. Later, the boy has grown into a man, and Gemma serves him food. The boy asks if Gemma is scared, and she replies probably. Gemma goes to give Tom his dinner and asks why she didn't let him kill the boy when he was young. Tom said it was because Gemma was a good person. The next morning, the man walked away while Gemma tried to follow him. She couldn't tell where he went. Meanwhile, Tom is digging to reveal a dead body. He quickly crawls out of the hole. Gemma calls for Tom and sees him slumped on the street. Gemma carries Tom home and bangs on the door, but the man doesn't open the door for Gemma. The next morning, Gemma and Tom are in the car. Gemma goes to bang on the door, and the man comes out. Gemma tells the man that Tom is getting sicker, and the man said perhaps it was time Tim was released. Gemma held the weak Tom in her hand later that day, and they talked about their lives back home, the first time Tom and Gemma met. Gemma asks Tom questions so he can keep talking to her. Tom dies. The man arrives with a box. In it is a body bag. Gemma cries and crawls away from the man. The man puts Tom in the bag and dumps him in the hole Tom dug. In the morning, Gemma attacks the man with a pickaxe, and he crawls on all four, chittering away. The man lifts a pavement and crawls under it. Gemma crawls in after him to see him disappear through a door. Gemma finds herself in another house and sees a boy and a woman crying at a table. Gemma sinks to the floor to see a couple having sex, a boy clapping. She sinks into another house to see a dead body in a tub, then she falls back into her house. Gemma opens the door, walks out, screams and falls to the ground. Gemma asked the man what she was, and he said she was a mother. Gemma asked what a mother does, and he said a mother dies. Gemma said all they wanted to was a home, and the man said, silly mother, you are home now. Gemma tells him she isn't his mother, to which the man says whatever. The man bags Gemma up and dumps her in the same hole as Tom. He covers the ground, and grass covers the soil. The man takes Gemma and Tom's car and leaves yonder. He goes to Martin's office to find him old and wrinkled. Martin gives the man his name tag and dies. The new Martin bagged up the dead Martin and folded him like a newspaper to put him into a drawer. Martin sat in his chair and stood when a new couple walked through the door.